Hey man, say man, it's your boy DAA man, Daylight TV, back at y'all with another one. And on this trip, we're gonna be reacting to Our Prophet, American Dope, breaking down um snitch allegations towards Ali ZOE Adam. Now, for those of y'all who've been following the channel, especially the Mafia Material profile piece I got, y'all know episode 2 was about Ali ZOE Adams. I believe we at like 12K at this point, or almost 12K. Y'all can go and check that out. Um, but yeah, so ever since bro been doing his interview run, he's he's been stirring it up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people been coming out calling bro cap. You know what I'm saying? And apparently a lot of people calling him a snitch too. So we're gonna figure out, you know what I'm saying, if bro really got down dirty with for Team USA, or you know, are they just trying to move the goalpost on buddy? Daylight TV, let's get it.
Okay, what's up with Ali ZOE Adams, the guy that's been making the round? So it's a very good book that someone did, ZOE POUND Mafia. I might do a longer story. Got a lot of information out of that book. You can check it out on Kindle if you're interested. But let's look at his 2017 court filing. United States of America versus Ali Lewis Adam. Defendant Adam pled guilty to counts 2 and 8, taking accountability for more than 150 kilos of cocaine. So this was a 2007 case. And the pre-sentence investigation indicated that Adam is accountable for at least 1,000 bricks. So a very major trafficker. I think that most of this went on in Columbia, South Carolina. This is per what Adam said in the ZOE POUND Mafia book, which again, you can read the stuff on your own.
Damn. Columbia SC, man. It's where my granny from. Shout out Columbia. I just left Columbia and with a metro time. I wonder if that nigga young Scooter got a like, you know, Scooter was rocking that Haitian flag. Like, I don't know. He might have been tapped in. You know what I'm saying? Like, makes sense. But let's keep going.
During a sentencing hearing, the court and defendant's counsel discussed the fact that the amount in question was in excess of $1,500. Although the amount pertinent to calculating defendant's base level under the sentencing guidelines was in excess of $150, and the government proffered that the amount was actually in excess of $1,500. So the government claims it had information that he trafficked over 1,500 bricks from primarily Miami to Columbia, South Carolina during the 90s into the early 2000s. Now but they're only were going to use 150 to calculate a sentence. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know why they picked which amount. Maybe that it's, if he's pleading guilty, they're willing to, not try to count all of it against him.
Damn, now that I said that young Scooter shit, and then he just said Miami to Columbia, I think about Ross being on that remix. And Ross been rocking with Ali like since the Booby Boy days. You know what I'm saying? Booby shit. Ali sat here and basically said what I've been saying in comments and shit for years about, Ross possibly being a CEO and shit like that or whatever, and like working for Booby. Because if you look at the MIAO documentary, it talks about when Booby got indicted, there were dozens of Metro-Dade police as well as Miami-Dade sheriff officers that were indicted as well, right? Now, the sheriff department, those are the niggas that run the jails for those who ever been locked up before. So it ain't that far fetched, and it was kind of something that I've been pointing out. And I could probably do a whole nother video, you know what I'm saying, on that. But yeah, dog, like that shit crazy or whatever and shit that Scooter might have been tied in with Zoe. And then fucking Zoe definitely was tied in with Birdman. You know what I'm saying? Like, which I want to speak on that too, but like that's another topic or whatever and shit for. Nah, actually, we can talk about it now. The whole thing with Birdman, you know what I'm saying? Like, supposedly needing to get 100K from Ali to jump in the dice game and all this shit. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, that shit sound cap. Like, because I don't know Baby personally. I never ran into that nigga or nothing. But I've heard stories, bro, and I know how that motherfucker be rolling around. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've heard stories about this nigga Bird, like, running around with a half a ticket, whole ticket. You know what I'm saying? In the trunk, just in case he sees some shit he like type shit. So I just can't imagine, you know what I'm saying, him needing 100K from anybody. You understand what I'm saying? Especially at that time, like, he already up. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, 100K, he $100 million nigga. But far as them dropping the case thing, I don't know if he's trying to imply that he told, like, you know what I'm saying, the dope case, or who he might have gave up, especially since he was he was like top of the food chain. You know what I mean? But see, like, the plea agreement could be like, he might just cop out to, you know what I mean, what he comfortable doing. So they might have just came up with an amount of dope to charge him with, just to fit the sentencing guidelines that, you know what I mean, they agreed to. So like, if he agreed to, all right, bro, instead of a life sentence, like, I'll take 20 years, they'll just give him the maximum amount of dope that, you know what I'm saying, falls under 20-year penalty type shit. Like, in my situation, even though it's a state case, like, I had 2 sales and they ended up, you know, dropping one. Like, I cop out to the sale and shit like that. So, you know, it's like sale for that Hannah might be a 3 to 9, right? Well, it is 3 to 9. So if I got 2, my range is anywhere from 6 to 18 years. You get what I'm saying? Now, being that I had no prior convictions, you know what I'm saying, for no trap shit, I was able to on the first offender shit, you know what I mean, get a little love. So I'm looking at the minimum. But if I ended up like getting hit for both sales, I could have easily sat here and done, you know what I'm saying, 6. So once they dropped the 1, you know what I'm saying, like, then it pretty much like, that's what, you know what I mean, they agree with. So that's pretty much probably what happened with dudes, unless, you know what I'm saying, there's a downward departure of Rule 35, 5K1, you know what I'm saying, all the shit that they be giving the rats and all that. But let's keep going.
So, of course, in a pre-sentence investigation, they assign you a score, which determines how much time you get. He got a score of 40, which combined with his criminal history category yielded a sentencing range of 360 months to life. So 30 years. So he ends up getting 360 months, 30 years, and another 240 months, 20 years, which were concurrent. On February 24th, 2010, so this is a couple years after the case, which happened in 2007, the government filed a motion for downward departure, which requested that defendant's sentence be reduced by 33% for having substantially assisted in the prosecution of others.
Well, shit. That's snitching. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, And he ain't even had to do the work. The government said, hey, good job. Hey, tell that man what he want. You know what I mean? Damn, Ali. And you know, I kind of held myself to a certain integrity not to do no mafia material pieces on Nobody Who Told. I got a whole separate series or whatever and shit for them type of niggas. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, like, damn, bro, because he had a lot going on. I'm trying to figure out what he told about. Let's keep going.
The court reduced defendant's sentence to concurrent terms of 220 months and 220 months. So he went from 30 years to 220 months is actually what, 18 years. So that'd be about with your little bit of parole and all that. That's why he just now got out in late 2023, early 2024. So he was trying to get some more time off because the sentencing guideline changed. But the government, because the government only used 150 bricks against him at the time of sentencing, even though his PSI stated he's accountable for at least 1,000.
All right, now, here's the thing. In the interview we did, when he talked about how he like gave some of the time back, you know, he pretty much said that he had like he was able to amend his position like from ringleader to like supervisory management type shit. You know what I mean, on a mortgage fraud case. And I'm guessing that the mortgage fraud case is what he got the additional 240 months for. That's running concurrent with the 30. You get what I mean? Yeah, man, that's kind of crazy. So what did he tell on? Did he tell on the dope side or did he tell on the mortgage side? Let's see. We're going to find out.
They didn't give him the extra downward departure. So his 220 month sentence stood. Ali had an uncle that was a Florida state trooper that the feds feel like was transporting stuff for him. As of the time of this book being written, the uncle was still on the run. He disappeared. He never was caught. So ZOE did not turn him in, or ALI Adam did not turn him in. And luckily, basically, for ALI Adam.
So the uncle that they're talking about, I believe, if I remember correctly from my notes, is Gary Jerome, right? Now, what's interesting is in the Vlad interview, which I used for some of my research, he stated that his uncle wasn't a state trooper, but a crime scene investigator. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Miami CSI, real life. You know what I mean? So that's I don't know. I'm wondering which one is true now. Is the state trooper side or is it the side? But shit, Gary Jerome did his Frank Matthews on this one, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody seen this nigga. He ain't go to jail, none of that shit. You know what I mean? Maybe that blue wall of silence or whatever applies when you cross over into the street too. Who knows? You know what I mean?
He was laundering his money with this guy. And this is a very fascinating story. There's a lot of complicated things involving a prince and all sorts of stuff. And I can do a longer story, but this is just a general overview. He started laundering his money by buying properties with a guy named Gary Souffrant. And of course, what happened in 2007, along with Ali Adam getting indicted for his yayo activities, the mortgage the mortgage market subprime fell apart, of course, driving the U.S. economy almost totally off the rails. And for several years, the priority of the feds became getting people who were responsible for, that they felt were responsible for causing the subprime implosion. Okay, I just found another very interesting document about Mr. Adam. When he was arrested in California, and he was soon moved to the federal detention center in Miami once he was hit with the continuing criminal enterprise and other charges. Now, he was placed into an extremely restrictive administrative segregation. He was not allowed to have bottled water, even. Very uncomfortable setting. He was placed in administrative segregation. I don't think he asked to be, but it was because the federal government had credible information that the Mexican mafia had a hit out on him, and that there were 3 Mexican mafia members at the FTC Miami location, and that there were also other gang members or just other people that.
So he had a hit on him by the MA, nigga. That's crazy. Now, he has said in an interview that, you know what I'm saying, some Mexican told on him. But I don't remember him saying nothing about like a hit. You know what I'm saying, being put on him by them dudes. And he a cold one, bro. Like, cause you know they super heavy in the California state prison. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they got a presence in the feds too. You know, like it's the whole politics or whatever and shit with cause there's like a peace treaty in the state pen, like with the South and the North, but it's in the Fed, like they still pushing the line, like from what I hear. You get what I mean? So that shit kind of crazy, bro. Like, you know what I mean? That he kind of survived that whole bid, and you know, having smoke with the MA, bro. Like that shit wild. If you know, you know. So, boy got some shit with him. But let's keep going.
There that might perform actions on behalf of the Mexican mafia. Why was there a hit on Mr. Adam, which he didn't say that there wasn't? I don't think he asked to be checked in, but the information came from, and the LAPD didn't want to give too much information, and Mr. Adam was never charged with this crime, but that he executed a Mexican mafia member during a 2005 transaction in Los Angeles. So 2 years before he was indicted, he was thought to have taken out. Well, now, what does Mexican mafia mean? Does it probably might mean a CARTEL member? I don't know. It doesn't give a lot of information, but
so damn. Now this kind of makes me think about when the nigga Red Eyes said, you know, Ali was out here giving ZOE Pound a bad name and all that because he would have certain dudes with him when, you know, he would do certain things and people would just, the word would get out like, oh, it's ZOE Pound. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like what happened with BMF and the shirt. Like you had dudes running around out here and they would rock the shirts and they might do some crazy shit, some crash dummy shit. And then all people will remember is, oh yeah, BMF. Like it was from BMF. And how does everybody know BMF will recognize the shirt? Well, because they got 3 goddamn billboards or whatever all throughout the city. You know what I'm saying? But damn. So, you know, he smoked the Mexican dude Now, if he is a CAR tell, then yeah, that's definitely like a bad look or whatever and shit. Because now, the way the MA rock, like they might just green light, what I'm saying, like Haitians in the Fed. So now you got dudes who ain't even got nothing to do with like Ali or what he got going on in the streets, probably getting money. And now they got to deal with, you know, Mexican mafia cats or whatever, you know what I mean, when they show up to a spot, especially in the Fed. Like, them niggas ain't, in the last I checked or that I knew of, like, they wasn't really in Miami crazy like that. But in the Fed, like, you know what I'm saying, it's like everybody's in there. Different states, cities, all that shit, different gangs. There's gangs in there you ain't never heard of, all kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. Like, the ag tech shit, like they definitely will put you in ag tech if they feel like, how could I say, you a threat to the population. And even if like the threat is on you, like somebody might be trying to hurt you, they can still deem you a threat to the population because you might have people on your side that's gonna be on go. So to prevent a like a riot type situation, they will separate your ass.
He was put in extremely uncomfortable situation. Mr. Adam was in general population during the time he was in the Los Angeles federal lockup, though that wasn't for that long of a time. And when he got to Miami, they put him in administrative segregation there, even though Miami was his backyard. And Adam actually told the feds that that his life was not a threat and that he should be allowed out. But he did suggest that since there were 3 guys there, that they could simply place a separation on those 3 from him. There is nowhere in the general population where Adam could be placed where FTC could assure that there are no Mexican mafia or other gang members.
Yeah, like, see, with that, especially in the federal system, so, these dudes might be running around, and then because they are tied to the CARTEL, they might be in like different cities as like operatives and shit. You get what I mean? So if they get jammed up in a certain jurisdiction, you might land in the same jail with them, even though that the area where you got picked up in is not known to have like MA associates. You know what I'm saying? But dude got eyes everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And they tapped in with a lot of people. So they'll find you. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to probably prevent a race riot, like if something did happen to Ali, him being who he was, because despite what everybody's saying, nobody denying that, he was getting that work and then he was getting that money. So, boy was on something. And, he survived all that time, like I said, with a bag on him from the MA and didn't get touched. So, but let's keep going.
Through the years 2000, 2010, the government had targets they considered more important than traffickers. Those targets were anybody that had something to do with the collapse of the housing market. Gary Souffrant and people like him contributed to the housing bubble, and the government wanted Ali and his co-defendants to testify before the grand jury against Gary Souffrant. Now, when Ali Adam got indicted, he couldn't get money for a lawyer because Gary Souffrant had been stealing it. So he says, after Gary did what he did with my lawyer and my company, I felt like he didn't deserve my loyalty. In April of 2009, all 6 of the defendants and their lawyers negotiated terms with federal prosecutors for an all-around conviction. There was a co-defendant named Graylin Kelly. I guess he was a ZOE Pound.
Alright, so they say that 09, like, niggas cooperated to get Tupac. So by this time, Zoe had already been down 2 years, right? And that would explain why in 2010 the government the prosecution filed a motion for the downward departure, you know what I'm saying, on the sentence, which amended, you know what I'm saying, like his sentence and shit, like he said. So, the dude Gary Soufant is the dude that he cooperated on. I thought he was just able to figure out that, like, what he did in the mortgage thing, you know what I'm saying, was only, you know, this bad as opposed to how bad the government made it.
He did not testify against Gary Soufant, but still took the plea in order to free Ali's family. So they were putting the screes on Adam Ali's, the mothers of two of his different children, I think maybe his own mother. And on May 18th, 2009, a 59-count indictment was returned against Gary Soufant and his wife and other family members. The indictment started with money laundering that exceeded $7 million and included charges like mail fraud, bank fraud, making false statements to mortgage lenders. And Ali says this is a direct quote from Ali, Adam. I saw Gary in a holding cell next to me and I asked him, how are we going to handle this money situation? He told me he didn't know my company had drug money and that he thought it all came from concerts. So he confronts him about.
Alright, so apparently, like I mentioned earlier in the video, and like I mentioned in the Mafia Material piece, Ali at his height had 123 properties. You know what I'm saying? Subways, I believe a couple of Dairy Queens. You know what I'm saying? He had a record label, House Fire Records. So, bro was doing his entrepreneurial thing for sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? In a big way. But yeah, pretty much, the whole thing is, so he told, and his other, like, co-defendants, I guess, in the cocaine conspiracy, like, cooperated to get his family out the jam. So I'm guessing with all of those properties, a lot of them, if not most of them, you know what I'm saying, were in other people's names. Friends, family, you know what I'm saying, different shit like that. So I guess, like, well, I don't guess, but that's the game that the feds play. You know what I mean? Like, they can find, and that's why they created, like, the RICO and the CCE and all of that. You know what I'm saying? To be able to attack everybody involved regardless of their role. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people were able to stay and play because the government couldn't develop a strong enough case against them. You know what I mean? So that's probably whatever I'm guessing what happened with Ali. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all.
Stealing his money. Gary Soufant is playing dumb and saying, oh, I didn't know you were a criminal when you were bringing me all this money. In February of 2010, after a 5-week jury trial, Gary Soufant was found guilty of 46 charges. Ali's sentence was reduced to 220 months, 18 years. Well, he doesn't hide it. He worked with the author of the book, ZOE POUND Mafia. I have not. So at the sentencing of Gary Soufant, the judge had this to say: I have not seen the least bit of acceptance of responsibility for your acts or getting other people involved. We read every day in the papers about people who are suffering as a result of the economic problems we're having today. Now the country is in a situation where people can't get mortgages. Gary Soufant got 2 years more than Ali Adam, who probably is responsible for 1,500 or more kilos, mostly out of Columbia, South Carolina. He didn't hide it. He talks about it. He said the guy that was laundering.
Alright, so Ali basically told her whatever on some white collar shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, what's kind of bogus is the dude Gary Souffrant sitting here trying to tell Ali that he ain't know, you know what I'm saying, he was the kingpin and that the money came out the streets. But I beg to differ. I believe that's what made dealing with Ali more attractive, because if Gary Souffrant was on some like mortgage scamming type time, the best person for him to do it with or get the money from is a drug dealer who can't necessarily just, or may not want to just run to the police and shit. You know what I mean? So as long as he can stay out the way, you know what I mean, then like he he's good. I don't know, bro. Like now clearly told, you know what I'm saying, the government filed a motion for downward departure and all of this other shit. But the thing about it is, depending on who you ask, because you got people who will move the goalposts and say, well, he ain't give up no D-boys, he ain't give up no bodies, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. He basically, you know, it seemed like what you would call a structured plea if everybody agreed, you know what I'm saying, like to it, but clearly, you know what I mean, there were statements given, you know what I'm saying, there was telling going on, and you know, like really no other way around it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just gotta take it for what it is. Now, I understand why, like, you know, that's just sketchy, because when it comes to like street niggas, it's, you know, like niggas don't really be looking at that white collar shit or whatever. That's another side of the spectrum. You know what I mean? You know, most of the time they be looking like, did you tell on, you know, or did you set somebody up, like, you know what I mean, to be like sell dope to a cop, or, you know what I mean, things of that nature. But yeah, man, this shit kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? He got 2 years more, he got 2 years less than Gary. So, you know, like it just seemed like pretty close or whatever to say like it was just an excessive amount of telling or some shit like that, you know. And shoot, I'm wondering, so Ali just got out. Gary Souffrant should be like right behind him. You know what I'm saying? Within the next year or so. I wonder if he's gonna be out here doing any interviews.
Laundering his money, stole from him so he couldn't get a lawyer to protect him and his own family. The feds put the squeeze on his family. He testified against Gary Souffrant in front of the grand jury, and he ended up getting 2 years less than Gary Souffrant. So there's the backstory of Ali Adam. All the other stuff, I don't know, is the case of Jimmy Henchman is also quite interesting. Him and Ali Adam are somehow intertwined. I'm not gonna say how, because it's hard to figure out. Henchman is doing life. Supposedly, Henchman was trying to work some deal where he was gonna tell and get out, but obviously that didn't work out. Remember that lots of guys tried to tell without really telling, right? They want to get the reward of a less sentence, but not actually hurt anybody. And sometimes.
So yeah, I broke down the relationship with Jimmy Henchman and Ali, and it's interesting or whatever. I'm wondering if there's a connection there too, because around that time, Jimmy catches his own cocaine conspiracy case. You know what I'm saying? So just makes me wonder, you know what I mean, if it went, deeper than rap. You know what I mean? Definitely have a lot of dudes that try to finesse the government. A lot of times it'll work out on the state level, but usually with the feds, bro, like they so meticulous with that investigative shit. It's like you be hard pressed or whatever to tell them a lot of shit, because normally when it's like when they ask you something, they already know the answer. You know what I mean? They just want to see if you're actually going to tell the truth, because now at this point, they're trying to groom you, you know what I mean, to play for Team USA. So just keep that in mind and shit. Next time you're in one interrogation rooms, tell them motherfuckers you don't eat no McDonald's and you don't want no cigarette. Like you go.
Sometimes it works for them and sometimes it doesn't. So a lot of people go in and make talks with the government and then nothing ends up really happening. But
a scam alert in Myanmar, where police say they have busted a former pastor for allegedly scamming a woman out of thousands of dollars. Local 10's Rosh Lowe is live to explain how cops say he tricked her. Rosh.
We met this 71-year-old woman, Pauline, today at this bus stop in North Miami as she was heading to work as a caregiver. This case is absolutely heartbreaking.
That's all I had. I saved that. I saved it penny by penny.
71-year-old Pauline Bryce is devastated.
I put it down because I wanted was to get a place to be my son. I didn't want him on the street.
She lost her life savings, thinking she was buying her dream house for her 47-year-old son, who suffers from epilepsy.
I haven't heard from him.
Sources say Gary Sifrant was a pastor who actually served time for a multi-million-dollar money laundering scheme.
Man, not another Whitehead. He's a Haitian Whitehead. Y'all remember Bishop Whitehead? He got robbed for robbing God's people. But damn, man. Yeah, Shirley probably like came over here, busted ass. You know what I'm saying? Doing who knows, bro. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, she looked like she worked hard. You ever see them people, like, you just look at them and you be like, damn, they work hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's crazy. It would be a pastor though. Shout out to all the good pastors, but y'all know what's going on.
Ali Adam was a big trafficker. He kind of lucked up, and the person that was laundering his money was a big person in the South Florida component of the subprime mortgage fraud crimes that the FBI and other federal agents made a high priority, and he used that to his advantage, and he turned 360 months into 220 months. So there's that part of the story.
There you have it. Ali told, man. No way around it. I mean, he not even denying it. So, in conclusion, all the dudes, like, all the ZOE Pound members, saying, like, claiming to be exposing him, not really exposing anything or whatever if he already said what he did. Now, how you want to hold him accountable or whatever and shit is on you. Like, you know what I mean? The era I come from, or, the streets I come from, is like, I'm not going to waste my time trying to, like, go extra hard on this nigga shit. Like, I'll just call you a rat. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you told, I'm gonna just say, like, oh yeah, bro, like, I don't know why you talking, because, you know what I mean, you did X, Y, Z. But if I'm not finna, like, slide for that shit, then, or, distribute any type of, like, DP, I'm not really gonna have that much energy for it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you ain't do that shit to nobody in my clique. Now, I ain't finna like rock with you. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't finna be buddy. But I'm not finna be at your top. I'm not finna be on no red hunter time. You know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. It's shit crazy. I set a standard like doing the mafia material joint that you know, I wasn't gonna profile anybody that had any telling shit going on. So the question I want to ask y'all is, do y'all look at Ali as like a rat, like in the sense of Alpo or like Rayful Edmond, or do you look at it because it's a white collar type situation that, you know, it's kind of different? You know what I mean? And do you make an exception or whatever because of the fact that bro did steal homie money and kind of left him with no defense? So now he basically used the government for his defense. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, it's tricky, but I mean, he definitely did it. He accepted. So I mean, we can't. You think? And I mean, clearly, Ali is not somebody that you just finna run down on, because even with a hit from the Mexican mafia, bro, like the nigga basically did 18 years in the Fed and lived to tell a tale. You know what I'm saying? Without really checking in. Like, he was in assay, you know, when he first caught his case. But from the looks of it, you know, and from everybody who got a story about bro in jail, from Terrence Gangster Williams to Unique Mecca Audio, and you know, Unique was in there with him and shit. He was in general population. You know what I'm saying? And Gangster, despite what people say about him, he wasn't in no PC either. So, you know, Ali was definitely walking them yards. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the whole time the MA had a hit on him and shit. So that's a hell of a thing, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And bro should be careful or whatever and shit, because one thing about, you know, the Mexican mafia, bro, is they don't forget. You know what I'm saying? The motherfuckers wait 5 years and get your ass, like, for real. So, I don't know, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. But hey, if you made it to this part of the video, hit that like and subscribe button. Help grow the channel. Ring that bell if you notification gang. And as always, stay dangerous so you can be safe. It's your boy DAALIGHT TV. I'm out.